I am honestly still just trying to figure out why my name even had to be spoken. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. So it's been brought to my attention that there's some new drama going on around the interview that I did with Xana Kernodle's mom, Cara, over on Crime Sleuthen's channel back in October. I'm just going to go ahead and just lay all of this out here because I'm really just done with all of this. Like, this is the reason why I have just wanted to stay to myself, like in real life and here on YouTube, because there's always something that has nothing to do with what I got on YouTube for that's going on in the background, and I'm just so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. My intention with this entire situation was to show support for someone who I felt wasn't getting support. Now, you guys know that I did a video about like what I was considering to be pretty hypocritical behavior on Facebook. Now, when the Goncalveses or, anyone else would get online and talk about the case, they would be welcomed and, they could ask whatever they wanted to, make whatever statements they wanted to, and everyone would just welcome them and support them in their questioning and their comments and stuff, right? Well, Cara got on Facebook and started asking questions and making some statements, and people were just being really mean to her. They were basically telling her to keep all of her comments and stuff to herself, that the internet wasn't a place to be talking about all this stuff. And it was just really hypocritical, and it bothered me. So I made a video about it. And now knowing that, everything that happened afterwards, I feel like it's my fault in a way. Like, I don't feel like I did anything wrong in this situation, and I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments that hate me that are going to say otherwise because they just feel the need to, even though they know it's wrong. I know for a fact I didn't do anything wrong in this situation. Okay. My whole thing was that I saw Cara not being treated fairly. I spoke out about it and brought that story here to YouTube. And I don't know if that made her or me and her or all of it collectively like a target of something or not, but I almost feel like it did. Because something just kind of tells me that if I wouldn't have like brought that story to YouTube for other people, certain people to see, then maybe we wouldn't be here right now. I don't know. Anyway, sometime after I posted that video, from what I'm understanding, Deb over on Crime Sleuth and reached out to Cara through Facebook Messenger and started talking to her through Facebook Messenger a lot, and they talked on the phone a lot. She became like a support system for Cara, which is good because Cara, in my opinion, needed that. She needed someone she could talk to and ask questions to with what I believed to be at the time a pretty logical mind, right? I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. I don't. All of a sudden, there's like issues with things, and my name is being brought into it, and I didn't even hear it from the horse's mouth. I'm hearing it from it randomly showing up in my YouTube feed. We're gonna get there. So I guess after a few days of talking to her, she talked her into doing an interview on her channel, a live interview on Deb's channel. This isn't something that I planned. I was all for it. I thought it was a good idea in my opinion. I was then asked by Deb if I would join her on this interview. I didn't plan it. I didn't reach out to Cara, and we didn't powwow three-way to do a plan of any sorts. Okay. I was asked by her to join her in this live interview of Cara. Now, a few days before the live, we started posting it and putting in our community tabs. And I was also told that Dago with the True Crime Cafe was going to be joining us in the interview. So it was supposed to be Cara being asked questions and talked to by Deb, me, and Dago. And as most of you guys know, Dago didn't show up but for like a few minutes. Now, I don't know the situation with that. I know what I was told. I know what I was expecting to happen. And then I know what actually happened. But when it comes to the reasons why those two things are different, I have no answers. As we were posting it and kind of like saying, hey, we're going to be talking to Cara on Friday. This is the time. This is where we're going to be. It's going to be live. There you go. We had a lot of people showing support for this interview. One of them being someone who's kind of like, I don't really know how to describe this person. They're a newer creator. His name is A.R. Hayes. And I don't personally have an issue with this person. Like, we had our heated fight about what was going on through like comments on his video about the interview. But other than that, like, it's been fine. We haven't had anything. We've actually not even talked in private. I've still never gotten like an email or anything from this person. So our argument was all like in the comments for what he said about this, right? And the only reason why I'm even bringing this up is because it's going to come full circle. Just bear with me. In one of my posts about the interview, he gives a lot of support and kudos, and he's like, basically, if anyone's going to do this interview right, it's you ladies. And he was like real supportive of the whole thing. At least in public, he was. And then the live happened, and he's in the chat, and now all his messages are gone from the chat. I don't know if he went in there and deleted them himself or how that's possible, but you can still see whenever people, like in the chat replay on the side of the screen, you can still see whenever people are like responding to him or saying something to him, like the remnants of him being in the chat are there, but his actual conversations that he like sent are gone. But he's in the chat and he's asking questions and he's being really supportive. And then Debbie mentions that all of the donations from the live are going to be given over to Cara, which is fine. But he then says he's going to match the donation, which was awesome at the time. And I was like, wow, I can't believe he just said that. That's awesome. That's cool. Little do I know that while we're on this live stream and for I don't even know how many hours after the fact, he was telling Dago like 180-degree differences. Okay. He was actually trying to pay Cara to not interview with us. Like, he wanted to pay her $500 to not interview with us at all. Which is odd because his entire reasoning behind that was that you can't give money to people in Cara's situation and expect it to be a good thing or expect it to go right. And so he didn't want her to make money off of this live. So he was going to offer her money to not do the live, to not make money off the live. Do you see how like weird? It didn't make any sense, right? And it didn't make any more sense to me the more that it was like a conversation that I was hearing the next day, because there was no money conversations, which is like the whole reason why I'm coming out and talking now. I really want to jump ahead, but I'm really trying not to because I feel like you all have to like know all of it. So I'm trying my best to like keep everything in line here. But basically, AR sent Dago a message that showed a conversation between Cara and someone else, someone that was speaking to Cara on behalf of AR Hayes, basically claiming that me and Debbie were going to put holes in Cara's story, which didn't even make sense because what story does Cara have about that night? She doesn't. She wasn't involved. She wasn't there. So there is no story to poke holes in. So right away, I was just like, okay, is this just like a jealousy thing? Because you're claiming money is the reason that she shouldn't be getting money because it's bad for her, but you're going to give her money to not. It just wasn't making any sense. So then I read those messages, and the response was basically what I deemed to be like really sarcastic. Like, she was like, okay, tell him to give me $500 and I won't do the interview. And it was just like, it literally to me read like a woman that was tired of being told what to do. Like, I didn't feel like there was anything like ridiculous in that because he even came out in his video and admitted that he offered her money to not do it. So that just basically like concreted it for me, considering the fact that we did the interview with her, that was just like a smart ass retort. Like, it wasn't legit. She's just tired of people telling her what to do. That's how I took it. And to me, that's how it seems still. And him coming out and claiming all of this stuff, it didn't help the situation at all with what was already going on with Cara and like just the response that the way that people were responding to her. It already didn't help because, like I mentioned, we were kind of like not advertising, but we wanted to show, that we were going to be talking to Cara. And so in some of the community tab, comments, people would be like, how much is she getting from this interview? How much are y'all paying her? Because she said she'd never do anything on YouTube unless she got paid. And just really like hateful stuff. And like I said, at the time, there had been no conversation. And to this day, there hasn't been a conversation about her getting paid anything from that live. All right. When Deb announced that in the live that all of the donations were going to Cara, That took me by surprise. I distinctly remember exactly like the moment because I remember sitting back and being like, oh God. Because all of the usernames of all of the people that I had just talked all this shit to just like flashed in front of my face, like it just flashed before my eyes. Because I had been arguing back with people. Like people were leaving really crappy comments about her and money in the interview, and I match energy. So if you come at me crazy, I'm coming at you crazy back. And now I just knew, like, oh God, here we go. All the comments are coming. All these people are going to start running their mouths because of this video right here, what this guy just put out. So it heated me. Like it really made me upset because, again, I was not getting anything from this interview. I have never once, ever once been paid to be on Deb's lives. Literally ever. Not the time for the live that we did with Cara, not the 2 or 3 times, however many times before that I had done a live with her. I have never once, not once ever, been paid a single penny doing anything on Deb's channel. Ever. So everything that I was doing was literally just to try to show someone some support. There was no ulterior motive. There was nothing else. That everything, all the clicks, all the views, all the money that was made, everything happened over there, not over her. So I had a whole bunch of people just hating everything, especially after the video that he put out about that entire situation. So it just really made me upset because that wasn't the situation. The money thing wasn't supposed to happen. And I'm really I'm upset even more now that I know that now I'm being used as part of someone's fake cover story for something. But I'm also kind of glad that what was said in this live was said because it proves that Cara didn't do the interview for money. Okay, so before we even get to that part, the next day after, I was asked by Deb to send Cara money. I was literally sent this message. If you have anything you could spare for Cara, she's having to pay her friend and his wife to stay there. I'm sending $100. Get into my paints, the Cash App. Let me know. That is the message that I got. I sent $100 later on that night, a couple hours later, a few hours later. Nothing about the money that I sent to Cara is what Sleuthin is claiming now. Nothing that she is saying in this live that I found is true. Now, people know how I feel about J-Rod, all right? And we still have our issues. This doesn't change anything. But I'm going to leave a link to his live in my description box so that you guys can go and listen to all of this yourself. It's all within the first 20 to 25 minutes. I didn't even listen past that because everything that I needed to know when it came to me to get me to make this video is all said in that time frame. Okay. What Crime Sleuthin is claiming is that there was a conversation had between us about Cara getting money in advance of when YouTube would have paid Debbie for those donations. And that is false. Now, she definitely verifies what I already knew about how Cara didn't know anything about the donations coming to her. And I've been talking to Cara. I've been talking to Cara since I believe the 20th. November the 20th is the first time I actually sent a message to Cara. And for the past few hours, we've been texting back and forth so that I can get down to her side of what's going on here. That's why I'm kind of glad I decided to redo this video because it was going to be before I had a chance to really talk to Cara. And I'm glad that I did because it gives me a little bit better perspective about what's happening. Okay. What Deb is claiming in J-Rod's live from, I believe it was Friday, is that the $100 that I sent Cara and the $100 that she sent Cara was some sort of advance since YouTube doesn't pay us until the following month. So anything that we made in October, we just got paid for on November the 21st. That's why I do my YouTube giveaways, because you guys know I do giveaways every month. My YouTube giveaways are scheduled to not be announced until after that ad revenue check hits the bank, so that I can make sure that I have the funds that I need in order to pay my winners the second that they get to me, so that I don't have any issues. So in case you guys were wondering why my giveaways were strangely in the third week of the month or some crap like that, that's why. But what she's claiming is not true. There was no advance. There was no conversation about me paying Cara $100 and then getting paid back from Debbie. I don't know why she's made that part of this entire situation up because it's not true. Now, I don't know about the rest of this. There's some, like, what it looks like is going on here is pretty gross. Okay. It looks as if Cara was used and is being lied to. That's how it looks. Okay. But I don't know how YouTube really works all that much. Okay. So I don't want to sit here and say that Deb's story is a complete lie because I don't know. I also don't do lives, so I can't explain how that works. Now, from what I'm understanding, from talking to some other creators and from just what I've experienced myself, okay, backtrack. Deb is claiming that the money that was received in donations on the live, it was like $359. On November the 8th, it's showing that it is now like negative $348. So she's basically claiming that whatever money came in donation wise was taken back from YouTube. But she's claiming that her video got reported by all these people, which is why she lost monetization on the live stream, like for people to watch it, that she lost monetization on it. But this is the problem. Monetization and donations are two completely different things. Because you can have a not monetized live stream to where no one in your live stream sees an ad as it's live. Because I've been in lives where I get an ad in the middle of it literally being live, and there's an ad. Okay. You can have a live stream that's not monetized whatsoever, where no ads play at all, but people can still send you money, like in the little chat thing with the super chats and super stickers and whatnot. Okay. So a live not being monetized and the donations, like, it's two completely separate things. They're not even on the same, like, they don't even compute the same when it comes to like the back end, when it comes to your ad revenue and what you get from memberships and what you get from super chats and super thanks and stuff. Like, it's all in different brackets. Now, she's claiming again that she found this out on November the 8th and that she reached out to Cara and let her know and then was supposed to, well, what she's claiming is that the only person's business that it was Cara's, hers, and mine, because she's supposed to pay me back the $100 that I advanced Cara for her, because she's claiming that me and her decided that we didn't want Cara to wait to get her money. None of those things are true. None of those things are true. Now, I'm not the only person that Deb sent this text message to. As a matter of fact, this isn't even my copy of this text message, because Deb knows that I don't have the same phone anymore, that I don't have the text message thread where all this went on. Now, mind you, I didn't have my phone for like 2 weeks or so, but she also didn't try to reach out to me via email, via the second phone number that I've messaged her on before, via Twitter, like nothing whatsoever. Okay. Now, if she owed me money from ad revenue or whatever was going on with the live stream, and now suddenly the live stream money got reversed and she had to tell Cara because she was supposed to give it to Cara, but I gave Cara an advance that Debbie was supposed to pay me back for, wouldn't I have also needed to have been informed that the money was gone? That YouTube took back the money so she wasn't going to be able to pay me back? Shouldn't I have been informed? I wasn't. You know why? Because there was no money owed back to me. There was not an advance. If it was an advance, wouldn't the verbiage have something to do with YouTube? Wouldn't there be something in here about, can you pay her $100 in an advance and I'll pay you back? But no. None of those things are in this message. This message is the one she sent Dago. Yeah, I don't have my phone, therefore I don't have my text thread. We got this exact same message. If you have anything you could spare for Cara, she's having to pay her friend and his wife to stay there. I'm sending $100. Get into my paints. Let me know. We got the same message. It was not an advance. No one is supposed to pay me back for anything. And that's really what kind of threw me. That's what kind of threw me. I give away money on this channel all the time. I donate to GoFundMes. I donate to victims' families' cash apps. I give away money. Okay? Why in the world would I send Cara money expecting someone else to pay me back? That was like that's really kind of what threw me. Like, out of all of the channels that could be believed on, you kind of chose the wrong one here. She wasn't even going to tell me any of this. Deb wasn't. Okay? Like, this whole live stream happened on Friday. Okay? I spent 15 hours driving yesterday. All right? I got home, sat down, looked at my phone, had a message from Deb. Hey, I really need to talk to you whenever you can. And I straight up said, look, if this is some YouTube drama, if some creator has a problem with me, if some other creator has a problem with this creator, basically, I don't care about none of the drama. I don't want to hear nothing. All right. So I'm sitting there and I open YouTube for like the first time all day. Okay. I've been driving since 6 a.m. It is like 11 o'clock at night, after 11 o'clock at night. All right. I am just now opening YouTube for the first time. And you guys know that I don't get along with J-Rod, right? So months and months and months ago, I'd already pressed the little button and put it on like do not recommend channel. So nothing of his ever shows up on my feed, ever. Tell me why. The first scroll, open the YouTube, scroll 1, J-Rod's live where Deb is talking about all this magically just appears. This was the universe at this point letting me know what the hell was up. So then her response is that it had nothing to do with YouTube drama, but never mind. And I sent a novel. I said, oh, but it does. Because it has to do with whatever story that you're telling J-Rod and everyone else about why you can't give Cara the money that you said you were going to give Cara. Now, like, if she would have told me what was going on when it happened, then this would be a completely different situation. I would actually probably have more her back because I would have been being told from the beginning. But I just don't know how much of all of this I believe because Deb isn't someone who just kind of like sits back and doesn't do stuff about stuff. Like, I don't know her all that well, but I've seen her operate here, you know, on YouTube well enough to know that if something like that goes wrong, that she's going to like send emails and make contact and make phone calls and get to the bottom of it and get things fixed. I don't see her just like allowing YouTube to just take the money and then her not really know why. Because she even says in the live where she's talking about all of this with J-Rod that the best she can think of is that people went in and reported it. So you don't know. And honestly, like she's showing screenshots of stuff, but she's literally the one who preaches about don't ever trust a screenshot. Like, she taught me about how you can go in and fake text conversations, that you can go in and change contacts' names and literally be like texting yourself, but it looks like you're having a conversation with the president or with Steve Goncalves. Okay. Like during all that Linda Lane stuff, she came out and like taught a bunch of people, hey, y'all need to be careful because you can fake this stuff so easily. So when she was just like showing screenshots and it's a situation that doesn't make any sense to me, like I have to question that. I'm sorry. I feel bad for Cara because she did not do this interview with the promise of any money. Deb admits that in this live that Cara went into this not knowing that she was going to get a penny. The donation thing happened last minute, according to Deb, and she just decided in her brain, instantaneous, she's just going to say it. But now Cara is being told that she can't get the money. Deb is telling her, oh, the $200 that you got from me and Jules was an advance, and now I have to pay Jules back, and I can't give you the other 80 because I think she's claiming that the percentage of donations she was supposed to be able to get was like $280. Now, and I will say this, YouTube does take a huge cut. Now, I don't do lives. You guys know I don't do lives, but I know that I've gotten like a $50, I don't know what they're called in the comments. Super thanks, I guess. I don't really know what they're called whenever you can give a creator money like in their comments of their video. But I remember like one of the very, very first ones I got was a $50 one. And I was like all kinds of excited. And it was still awesome regardless. But out of that $50, I only got $24.45. YouTube took more than 50%. So while I know that it's like showing that $359 or whatever, but that definitely is still not the amount that would have actually been brought in by the time that the revenue check hit, at least from what I'm understanding. I don't really pay attention, guys. I really don't. I just know for a fact YouTube takes a huge chunk and that we get paid 3 weeks after the end of the month. It's always in between the 21st and like the 26th is, I think, like the gap that they want you to give, I guess the grace period that they want you to give. But I just wish I could understand what was actually going on here, because it seems like she just kind of like made stuff up on the fly as she was being asked questions, and she didn't even bother to like reach out to me to try to talk to me about it until it had done happened. Like it had been a whole like 24 hours since that live when I got that text message from her when she said she needed to talk to me. And I'm like, talk to me. And now I'm thinking, like, what were you going to talk to me about? But I made it known that I knew that there was something going on. And instead of her just like owning up and being like, yeah, this is what happened and, I'm sorry, and like actually explaining me like the truth, she kept up with the facade. And she was like, oh, well, we need to discuss how I'm supposed to pay you this money back. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? And she's like, oh, this was a discussion that we had in StreamYard. No, it wasn't. You want to know what was discussed in StreamYard? What was discussed in StreamYard was all of the drama with the AR Hayes situation. There was never a discussion about money when it came to any sort of advance for Cara. The only money conversation we had was that AR Hayes was trying to claim that Cara was out here doing bad things with money, which is why he wanted to offer her money to not do a live where he thought that she was going to get paid, when in reality, she wasn't supposed to get a single penny for being on Deb's channel that night. And the donations going to her was a last minute thing that Deb decided to just say out of nowhere because she just felt the need to. Now, when it comes to the situation going on now, I don't know what to say. I don't know if everything that we're being told about that is true. I don't know how YouTube reverses money, if YouTube reverses money. I know that there's some creators, and I mean like creators with millions and millions of subscribers, okay, that have had issues with YouTube actually paying them their ad revenue check, but that's not the situation here. This is someone claiming that donations were reversed, which is just odd to me. Like, I've heard creators say to people that they could go and get a refund. Like, I guess there's a process that people can go through to get a refund if they send like super chats or whatever during live streams. But I don't really know a lot about that at all. I just know that in the end, I didn't appreciate my name being put into this, and it's false, because none of that happened. There was no discussions. There was no, me and Jules didn't want her to wait until the next month for anything. No, that wasn't the case, because like I said, I'm also not the only one that got that text message from Deb that day. I'm not the only one that was asked if I could spare anything to send over to Cara. So that just doesn't make any sense why she's going to sit there and try to claim that it was some sort of advance that has to be paid back. That doesn't make any logical sense. And I just wanted to put this out there because Cara doesn't appreciate how this makes her look. It looks like there's like an argument about money, and that's not the case at all. That's not the case whatsoever. And Deb, again, through all of this stuff, all right, in J Rod's live, Deb even states the whole donation thing was last minute. Cara did not come into the interview thinking she was getting paid. She didn't know she was going to end up getting any money. And all of this has to do with Cara and Xana. Okay. Like, this is literally the mother of a victim of the Idaho case. Someone who lost their lives, mother. And regardless of the way that that relationship was or not, there's no reason for this kind of stuff to be happening. But all of this is just really uncalled for. And I'm just as lost as everyone else. I don't know what's going on. Again, it wasn't my channel that this live was on. It's not my channel that got the ad revenue or got the donations. I just know that whatever I sent to Cara, I sent because I was asked to. She was in need, and I had the ability. I never wanted it back. I never even thought for a single second that the money that I was sending over to Cara was going to be paid back to me. Literally ever. It was never a conversation nor a fleeting thought. It's just so odd. But yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I just wanted Cara's name cleared out of this entire thing. It was not fair to her. All this mess that's going on. I don't know what's going on over in Crime Sleuthen's world, but that is where I stand. That was my role and lack thereof, honestly, in this entire thing. Yeah. But you guys try to have a good Sunday. See y'all.